How much does a Tesla cost? How much does it cost to maintain? Should I buy a used one or a new one? Model 3 versus Model S? All these comments and questions that I hear all the time, I wanted to address today relatively quickly, just so you get a better idea and hopefully make a better choice for yourself that won't ruin you financially, but still you will get something of value and something that you're happy with. Because let's face it, today is kind of a slow news day. There's really no news that is worth talking about, and if there are some smaller ones, I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. But let's address this since so many people are talking about it, and we're going to start right now.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, electric.
If you are watching me live on Patreon, thank you for supporting the show. If you want to watch live on Patreon, you can join us here at patreon.com/e4electric. And if you're watching me on YouTube and in replay, please consider subscribing so you don't miss anything moving forward and become a part of this community. All right, let's tackle the issue of cost of Tesla. Now, I might make a separate video about just cost of electric cars. There are a lot of things that I'm going to talk about right now. Really, you can use them if you're just shopping for an electric car as well. First of all, how much does a Tesla cost? All right, that question you can easily answer by going to tesla.com and configuring pretty much the car that you want, and you will see how much it costs. On top of that, you need to understand what tax incentives or state incentives or whatever government and local incentives you have in your area. For example, here in the United States, we have a $7,500 tax credit that you get after you do your taxes. If you've paid at least $7,500 into your taxes that year, you'll get that back. Now that's going to be phasing out pretty soon as Tesla hits 200,000 cars made and sold here in the United States, most likely in July if they're smart. Also here in California, we have a $2,500 rebate that people get. But also, when you buy another electric cars, like for example for Nissan Leaf right now, if you're a PG&E customer, you'll get $3,000 off on top of all of that. So please check with your local incentives. Then you'll get the real price of your car. Now, that's still really not the price you're going to pay, most likely, because you're not going to keep this car forever, right? You're probably going to use it for 2, 3, 4 years, and then you're going to sell it. And this is why, and there are 2 or 3 videos that I already made about that, I recommend leasing the car. The only reason not to lease a car is if you drive more than 17,000, 18,000 miles per year, or if you want to modify the hell out of it, or your credit score is just not good enough to get a good rate or be able to lease. Everybody else is going to lose money if you are not leasing your car. Now, I understand there's a question about, oh, but I don't own it. Well, you don't really, it depends on what ownership means to you, right? Generally speaking, you're going to get a brand new car, you're going to drive it for a while, and then someone else is going to drive it, who buys it off of you or the bank. So really the concept is very much the same. If you want to put a label on it and feel good about it, but lose a bunch of money, then that's fine. But as far as financial math goes, arithmetics, leasing is by far better than buying for many reasons. I'm going to list them right now really quickly. First of all, you pay pretty much half of the sales tax that you're going to pay. So if you're buying a Tesla, for let's say $100,000, you're talking about $4,000 of savings right away just because you're leasing. Of course, then there's a residual value. So if the car costs less than everything, the bank estimated, they're gonna lose the money. If it's worth more, then you're gonna make money. So it's kind of one of those very few times when you actually can screw a bank out of some money. No joke. And of course, there are also other incentives like you can write it off. In the case of $7,500 tax incentives, it's actually being thrown in right away. So you kind of get a quick, immediate tax rebate, and regardless of how much you paid or did not pay in taxes that year, bank worries about that. But anyway, these are just 3 major ones. So definitely recommend leasing. Now, if you are really not that, unless you just need to absolutely drive a brand new car from zero, I would recommend do something what I did actually with the car that's in the picture right now. I would recommend that you not anymore, that was my car, this is stock image. I would recommend that you go to Tesla and try to look for what they call it an inventory car. Those are cars that they give out as loaners when people bring their cars for service. Sometimes they use them as demo cars to do test drives and so forth. It is very much worth it. So those cars will have, from 1,000 to 5 or 6 or 7,000 miles, which is not a big deal. And they usually fully recondition it, and it really just pretty much a brand new car with a few thousand miles on it. But you can get like $10,000-$15,000 off sometimes those cars just because of that. They're still counted as new cars because they were never sold, and you can still lease them as new cars. And even if you're decide not to lease and get a loan, you'll still get a lower APR because it is a new car. So that's a huge perk that you get kind of right away with the don't confuse them with certified pre-owned. They are inventory cars. Now, certified pre-owned, they kind of made a step back with the program. They're no longer kind of reconditioning those cars, so I don't know if I would recommend that. I would, you can buy used off of Craigslist or Auto Trader and so forth. Of course, you want to do all of the due diligence that you would do with any other car or any other big purchase, to make sure that the car is good. I strongly recommend not to buy cars that are out of warranty. If you are buying a car that's under 50,000 miles, you can still buy the extended warranty up to 100,000 miles from Tesla. But if you buy a car and it already has no warranty and no ability to have a warranty added, I absolutely 100% advise against buying a used Tesla without any warranty. Those repairs can be sudden. You don't know if this car was made in a batch that had some issues, and those will cost you a lot of money. Not only that, sometimes parts are really tough to get because they're trying to still make them as many of them as possible, and it's been a issue that's been not as bad lately, but you do not want to get caught where the part that you need is 1 or 2 months away. Even if it's 1 or 2 weeks away, that's too much to wait, especially if maybe that part is needed for your car to get back on the road. So that's something that definitely you should consider. It is something that has been an issue before, so I would not recommend that. As far as what kind of model to buy, literally today, so a comment of the day, well, I shouldn't tell a comment today in my comment section. Hey, should I buy a 75D or 100D? Well, it depends on your budget. The difference between 75D and 100D is mainly range and power, right? How fast you can take off a red light, basically. Now, the difference is, on average about $30,000. To me, it's not worth it because even though my cars, I have two, even my regular 60 has a realistic range of about 180 miles, and somebody who drives a lot of miles per year, I never have range anxiety or a need to supercharge that much. Sometimes, but it's never been a problem. So having even 300 plus range with a 100D, to me it's an overkill. It's like something that I'm buying that I will never use. Those batteries will just be sitting there, and I paid for them, and I'll be bringing them with me on every journey and every trip, but I never ever use them. And so to me it's not worth it. And as far as taking off from 0 to 60 off of a light, even my regular 60 takes off so fast that it's already too much. If you ask me, rarely I floor my car off of a red light. And a 100D, especially performance 100D with a little, that is ridiculous. I'm not really sure if anybody needs it. Now, if you have all this money and you don't care, there's no difference to you, $70,000 or $100,000, then by all means, that's obviously a better car. Longer range doesn't hurt. But if you are on a budget, 75D would be the best deal. And again, just like I said, inventory 75D would probably be even better as far as saving money is concerned. I already mentioned my thoughts about autopilot. I don't find it useful. I have 1.0. I know 2.0 and 2.5 is actually making pretty good progress right now. However, you still have to keep your eyes on the road, hands on the wheel. To me, it kind of cancels out any benefits that autopilot has. But if this is something that's, sometimes sitting in traffic, autopilot can help. auto parking and some other features that are just, you know, cool or a little bit useful. Again, make your own judgment. Now, of course, I want to say when you're thinking about all of that, make sure that you have money to buy this car. You're not jeopardizing your college, you know, kids fund for, or you know, obviously as many financial advisors recommend, who I am not, to have at least 6 months worth of living expenses and all that stuff, just in case if you lose your job or get sick or whatever. So obviously be a responsible adult. Make sure that the money you're spending is on something that you actually can afford without jeopardizing your finances. Let's talk about Model S versus Model 3. Obviously, Model X versus Model S is easier, right? Because it depends if you have a family or if you travel, you know, with a lot of stuff, right? If you, let's say, I'm a hockey goalie, I need a lot of space in my room. Now, I'm okay with my Model S because it's just plenty. But I don't really I don't really go like to Tahoe, whatever, but some people do and they need a lot of room. So Model X is more for them. Now, a lot of people think that Model 3 is there, it's a third generation Tesla. That is absolutely not true. Model 3 is just, it's sort of like a BMW 3 Series to a BMW 5 or 7 Series. It's not as good of a car as a Model S. It's just not. Many different ways. It does have a very comparable range to that I will give you, but everything else in autopilot, obviously, but overall the space, the size of the car, just obviously it doesn't have a heads-up display. Everything in that car is just not better than Model S. If I had to pick between the two, I would pick Model S. Of course, if $20,000 extra make a big difference for you, then a Model 3 is a good choice for you. But for right now, Model S is just simply a much better car. Grant in the chat room on Patreon says, have you seen all the new how-to videos from Tesla? There is one on autopilot. I have seen them, and you know, obviously just like I said, autopilot is making progress, but to me, because I have to keep my eyes on the road at all times and my hands on the wheel, and now I even have less trust in it because of all the other videos that we've seen, I just don't find how it's helping me. That's just me. If you see the value in it, then you just compare how much they charge for it, for the model you're looking for, and then you'll come up with the answer whether or not it's worth it for you. Once we get all the upgrades for the 3, then it's not like a mini S, says Grant in the chat room again. Still not true. It's a smaller car, has smaller space inside as well, though it is pretty roomy. Has just one smaller monitor versus a bigger monitor in the heads-up display, and many other features. So don't forget, Model S, you can supercharge it for free, where with the Model 3 you have to pay for it. I think there is plenty of videos that are comparing, including my Model S to a Model 3. And even with everything that's going to happen with all the updates for the Model 3, Model S will always be a better car, because don't forget, Model S is getting updates as well. So good point, but you know, even Elon Musk had you know, spent some time a while back before Model 3 really came out, trying to convince everybody and explain that Model S is just a much better car. So again, all of this is within your budget. Please be a responsible adult, but that's how. Now, here's some savings that of course you're going to get. If you're Model S owner and you're first owner, especially right now, or the owner before 2016, January 2016, I believe, you'll enjoy free supercharging. Model 3 drivers will not, no matter what you do. User referral code, not user referral code. But the savings you will get is obviously getting the incentives if you have it in your area. You are obviously not going to do any kind of oil changes or tune-ups. As a matter of fact, I believe Tesla doesn't even require you to do even annual maintenance checkup. So it really can be zero as far as maintenance is concerned. And of course, the cost of electricity is much cheaper than the cost of gas, and you'll be saving money that way as well. There are carpool stickers right now that we can use and enjoy the carpool lane. They're expiring soon. I don't know if it's a big deal for you or not. I believe there are new stickers coming in here in California, or maybe that's federal. I'm gonna have to check on that. But that's another perk that a lot of us enjoyed, and some of us are really needed. Now I wasn't one of them, one of those people, but nevertheless, that was a really good perk to have even once in a while. Okay. Again, Grant says it's like a mini S. Okay, charging not free, but dual motor air suspension by way more money than the CPO Model S. So Model S will obviously also have air suspension and dual motor and performance package and all of that. But you know, it's like discussing Model 3 versus, I mean, BMW 3 Series versus BMW, let's say 5 Series, right? The features are very similar, but you pay much more money for the last, let's say, 10 or 20% of the extra value. And just like I said, the size is, but let's even talk about, you know, the door handles. Door handles in Model S are really smooth. They come out of your body. It's really cool and smooth. But in the Model 3, they're manual. You kind of push them in and you have to yank it out. I mean, it's okay. I'm just saying every single little feature is in the Model S either the same or better. I can't think of one that's better in the Model 3. And I have to also say that I almost never hear people say that they don't like the way the Model S looks, but I do have, I think, a portion, relatively large portion of people do not like the way the Model 3 looks. Again, not my personal opinion. I actually think Model 3 is a gorgeous car as well. But I'm just saying there's less people who like the way Model 3 looks. But don't forget, this video is about financing and finances, and these are pretty much the main reasons why reasons to give it thoughts. Lease versus buying, Model 3 versus Model S, used versus new, and of course 75D versus 100D as far as the Model S and Model X are concerned. So let me know if you have any particular questions. Obviously, I'd love to see them in the comment section. I will answer it all. I'll definitely make a video out of this, out of the follow-ups, because this is an ongoing subject. I've already have some videos. Check them out on my channel about that. So you can enjoy that. Now let me address the comment of the day really quickly. I don't have a specific comment of the day. A lot of the comments were about Zach and Jesse interview, which I think is one of the best that I've done so far. I think it was a great debate, and the comments were all over the place, from accusing them of being biased and Tesla fanboys or whatever you call it, to accusing me of being completely out of line and everything. So here's the thing. I don't need everybody to agree with me, as long as we're all having a discussion about this. I think everybody needs to realize that even though we might be on different parts of this sort of spectrum of opinions, me and Zach and Jesse, we're still part of the same movement. I believe all three of us are doing this for the same reason, for the right reasons, unlike some other YouTubers that may be doing it for some other reasons. I will always enjoy and respect their opinion. Again, don't have to agree or disagree with them to believe that they're a very important part of this YouTube community. So I thank them for being on the show, and if you haven't seen it, please check it out. It's one of the most watched videos on my channel as far as watch minutes are concerned, because the interview is really that interesting, I think. But it's definitely interesting to read your comments, guys. But by the way, thanks about comments. I have to say, in the last 3 days that I've read comments, I kind of need to set some rules about the comment section, because I think people don't understand. I don't really care for your insults or F-bombs, or if you don't understand the subject. For example, a lot of people saying, they can't take, Elon Musk out of Tesla. Tesla will fall apart. Well, no one was talking about it. Like, seriously, nobody. You're probably misunderstanding what the chairman of the board does versus a CEO of the company, but that's on you. So if you want to put up an uneducated comment and you weren't paying attention, please don't. Most of the time I either erase them or I just completely ban you from using the comment section on my channel. So if you're to contribute to this or any other video, please understand the topic, please watch the video, and most importantly, no personal attacks on me or somebody else. This is not what it's for. It's really easy, really one click to ban you from ever commenting on any of my videos. So please be respectful, please be a valuable member of this community when you comment on my video. And really, to be honest with you, this goes to any video. If you comment on any YouTuber video, please be respectful. I think that goes for everybody. I hope you guys agree with me. Let's see. I think this is really weird that we had no major news today to talk about it, but I'm glad I was able to talk about this to you guys. Looking forward to your comments. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, remember to stay charged.